I've received a lot of skincare and PR over the last few months, and I know a lot of people save skincare reviews for empties, but I am doing a big end of the year empties as opposed to like every month or every few months. I don't like to hold on to trash. But I did want to tell you about my experience with some products that I think you might be interested in, because I actually have had a bit of a skincare thing that I have remedied since the end of last year to right now. And some of these products I think have a lot to do with that. So I just wanted to discuss them with you. Before we jump into all of this, I think I should just tell you like a little bit about my skin. So I have oily skin. I'm 33 years old. And what I'm concerned about when it comes to my skin is like, I would like some anti-aging or like pre-anti-aging. I don't think my skin is like really falling to the wayside yet, but I do keep that in mind. And my skin's pretty tough and pretty resilient. So like I tend to do a lot of exfoliating. Well, that works for me. It might not work for you depending on your skin type. I will say, even though I have oily skin, I do tend to like products when it comes to skincare designed for dry skin. And that might be like a dehydration thing. I'm not really sure what that's about. So I'm just gonna walk you through like both nighttime AM at the same time. I'm not gonna apply anything. I can show you the texture on my hand, but that will probably be about it. So for makeup remover at the end of the night, I've been using the sulwhasoo Gentle Cleansing Oil. I like this, but I don't find it any better than anything I use that's like cheaper. My favorite is the Caudalie, and I feel like you get less product in the Caudalie, but I feel like the Caudalie always lasts me a lot longer. However, I feel like I've been doing makeup more this year off camera, so I do feel like perhaps I am just like wearing more makeup, and that might be why I'm running through it. This is, I think, $50 or close to $50. I remember when I bought it, I had some point rewards that I used. I don't think I would ever buy this again. And in fact, I know that this is an Asian beauty brand or an Asian skincare brand, but I think I might just figure out something on YesStyle, try to figure out, go on that journey. I've been watching a lot of Alice in the Rabbit Hole, so I will link her channel down below. She does a lot of reviews on skincare, like from YesStyle and stores like that. So I think I might go through her catalog and try to find a first step cleanser that I like that isn't $50. I just don't feel like this is something that's worth $50. So there's that, my piece on that. Here's something that you've seen every influencer and a half talk about. It's the Prequel Gleanser. This is $18 and you get a ton of product, 13.5 fluid ounces. And it describes itself as a non-stripping face and body cleanser formulated with 50% glycerin, inulin, and a unique aquaporin stimulating active boost skin suppleness. To boost skin suppleness. Sometimes I'm reading to the child and I'm like, can I read? I feel like on my YouTube channel I prove time and time again that I can't. So this is 50% glycerin, and there are some other ingredients in it, but there's not like a ton of ingredients in it. The size of this for $18 is just like pretty impressive. I feel like a lot of the cleansers I've used in the past have been less than this and cost a lot more. I don't think, and this has like kind of always been the case, I don't think my cleanser needs to do much. My previous favorite cleanser was the one from Kiehl's, and it was the Kiehl's Calendula cleanser, and it might have come in this size or maybe something a little bit smaller, and it was $50, but it lasted me like a year and a half. Like that's how long that cleanser would get me. So I can't imagine how long this one will get me. And for $18, it will get me pretty far. So I think the value for your dollar is pretty good here. This cleanser doesn't really like lather a lot. It's not like I would say it's a pretty basic cleanser, which I'm totally fine with. I don't need my cleanser to be anything super fancy. I will say that I think the texture of this was a little off-putting the first time I tried it. So it's just kind of like clear and gloopy. It kind of has the consistency, and I don't think there are silicones in it, but it kind of has like the consistency of a silicone-y primer. And then when you lather it, this is about as like lathery as it gets. You don't get like a ton of that, and it just very gently cleanses. So it's definitely something that if you taking off makeup, you need to do a first step before you would move on to this one. But it's really nice. Whenever there's water on it and like it gets wet, it's just so slippery. It feels just kind of weird because it's just not like any cleanser I've used. Because it's 50% glycerin, it's really hydrating. It doesn't feel like it's stripping my skin at all when I'm using it, which is really nice. I do feel like sometimes people with oily skin like to have that astringent kind of thing, either with their cleanser or their toner, but that's not really what I like for it. I just think, I mean, as far as like in the Western market, the American market, like I don't think you're going to find a better deal for this, even if you're like buying drugstore cleansers because I bet you there's less product in them. I also feel like whenever I use like a cleanser that I feel like is inefficient, I use more of it. I don't even use a full pump of this when I'm washing my face, and I don't recommend. It's just a lot of product if you do a full pump. I have used it on my body too. It's not my preferred way. I think I like a little bit more of a lather on my body, probably because I feel like my body is dirtier than my face, except I do explicitly put dirt on my face. Makeup. Isn't that funny? I'm like, my whole body is so dirty, but my face, gentle. Cleanser. But yeah, this is really good. I will rebuy it, but it'll take me forever to get through this. I have no idea how long it will take. If I go through this year, I will be surprised. I don't think I should, but it does kind of pump out a lot of product, even when I'm trying to control it. So that's something I will say. It's like, I just don't think I need that full pump. So the next thing it's part of my routine. I don't feel comfortable recommending it or like speaking too much on it. I just kind of would like let you know here and now that I have it. So Ziip was very kind in sending me their Halo device. So that's this right here. If you're my patron, you saw me doing one of the routines on Patreon. I mean, I basically kind of talked through it there, but I don't think I'm gonna do like a full detailed review of this, like a standalone video, but I probably will swing back in a favorites or something and do something pretty detailed with it. Here's what I'll say. I do think it's working. I can't 100% say it's working. I have before photos, but what I will say is when Cam was here over the weekend, which I'm filming this the Thursday after they left on Monday, I wasn't really using this because like timing wise. But what I will say, and I think this is something that one can do with the gua sha or get out of the gua sha, is I have been liking the ritual of doing this. So taking anywhere from like 4 to 12 minutes for myself, just like rubbing this on my face has been kind of nice. It's kind of like I am electrocuting my face. I mean, it's not like a strong current, but like you can feel it and it feels like you're electrocuting yourself. You know, like those balls that have the Edison thingy in the middle and you like touch it and the purple follows you. It kind of feels like, you know, you got a little bit of a tingle in that. It's like that, just a little bit enhanced. There are more and less intensive zaps in it, depending on the routine that you do, but I tend to do the middle intensity because I tried the stronger intensity and that was like a little bit too much for me. It also has conductive gel, and I do this after cleansing and before the rest of my stuff. I'm not sure that that's right, but I would imagine you would want to do this on clean skin, but before you have all your serums and potions on it, because this, I think you're supposed to rinse off, wipe off, and discard gel after use. So it's not something that you leave on your face. And I will say, if you are trying to use it without the conductive gel, it's not great. It's not, because I was curious and I did try it. They didn't tell me to do that. I just was like, will that work? I would say don't do that. So you definitely like need this to go along with it. I have no idea how much this costs. This is the size that came with the device, but I feel like I'm running through it because you have to be pretty liberal with the use of it on your face to get the glide, like so that your face is essentially lubricated enough for this to glide on it. I just looked up how much this costs, and the one I'm showing you is $29, and I think that the one I have is like a mini because it comes with it. If that's the full size. But there are there are 3 other versions of the gel, and 2 of them are $79, and one of them is $129. So the full size of the one that is 2.7 fluid ounces, which I think is a lot more than what I have. I think I have a fluid ounce of it. So I'm like not upset at $29. Like it could be a lot worse. Because I think they also know that it doesn't have any skincare value because you're just taking it off when you're done. I literally can't imagine why the other ones would cost as much as they do. Okay, back to the video. I do feel like there's instant results, and I do feel like I've been using it over time and I have been getting results, but I want to use it like very, very consistently for at least a month before I would like sit down in front of you. I've only had this for about 3 weeks now. I do enjoy it. I do think it's working. I actually have a promo code. I have a promo code in case you were interested in this and you've been like waiting for a promo code. I think it's only 10% off, which is generous, but also I know as a consumer, 10% kind of feels like nothing. So I'm just saying that as a consumer, not if Big Ziip, if you're listening to me, I do really greatly appreciate that you sent this to me and that you gave me a promo code. I'll leave it. I don't even know what it is. So I will leave it up here on screen for you, or maybe on this side, somewhere down there. And it will also be in the description box down below if you want to look further into it. The thing that it celebrates, the thing that they say is that there's microcurrents and nanocurrents in it. And the nanocurrents are the thing that they say makes this better than other devices like this. So the microcurrents are what the zaps that you feel, and then there are nanocurrents, and the nanocurrents you can't really feel. And there are some there's an app, and through the app, it kind of, the owner is walking you through it and kind of telling you like what each step does. Like the nanocurrents, you never really feel that zapping thing. It's the microcurrents. So the nanocurrents are supposed to be like after you do the microcurrents, it switches into nanocurrents like automatically. And that's kind of like the setting powder or the finishing spray of the currents, where it's like the microcurrent does like all of the big lifting, heavy lifting, and then the nanocurrent like sets everything into place. That's like a very loose way to describe it. And I am also not a scientist. I don't know a lot about currents and cosmetically how they work. I think my friend Jordan said that she would help me out because she's someone who understands research like that. I don't. So she said she might look into that because she was interested in something like that and she wanted to just learn more. And I think having her help me understand that will be helpful. But it is part of my skincare routine, and that's why I'm talking about it. And I do feel like it's doing something, but I still feel like I need more time to definitively tell you like it's worth $400. But again, I have a promo code. Feel free to use it, but I would say, do more research than my limited experience with it. All right, the next thing I'm going to talk about is like a section. I have two of them, and one I'm going back to and one I'm passing on. It's not for me. So I've been into Milky toners. I got into the Rhode Milky toner. Yes, Hailey Bieber's Milky toner. Some friends talked about it. I tried it out. I love it. I've gone through 3 tubes of it. So I'm like into the category. And The Ordinary through Skeepers sent me their Milky toner. And it is it's the Saccharomyces Ferment 30% Milky toner. And it describes it as a gentle exfoliating toner with yeast ferment technology. So I did look up the ingredients of this, specifically this yeast ferment, which does have some skincare benefits to it. But from what I could find, none of them were gentle exfoliation. So I'm not really sure what's in it that they're saying that gently exfoliates. If you mean the friction of my fingers touching my face, then maybe. So I'm not a fan of this. You hear the word yeast. It smells like yeast. Like it smells like your baking bread, which is a little off-putting. And I've gone through about half of it, and I have not had this for very long. I've been using it, I think, about 2 to 3 weeks at this point, and I just feel like I shouldn't be that far along in it, unless they only give you a month's worth. I'm not super into how fast I feel like I'm going through it, but I think I'm using a lot of it because I feel like my skin sucks it up so quickly, and it doesn't do much. So also, I think that the stopper here, it's not a very good one. Whenever it comes out, it kind of like shoots all over the place and comes out of the side. And then it's really runny. It's like really, really, really runny. And sometimes like, how like I like to use my hands for this kind of thing. I don't want to be, super wasteful and use like cotton rounds, but like I feel like sometimes I'll like want to pat it into my skin and my hands have already sucked up the product before I get it to my face. And like, are my hands dry? Yes. But none of the other Milky toners really do that. Sorry, I need to like wipe off my desk. And so when I get it to my face, I just feel like it doesn't get very far. So then I'm like kind of going back and like putting more on. It just is not a super luscious experience. So that leads me to believe if you have a really oily skin and you don't like the feeling of something like sitting on your face for a really long time, then you might like this. Like this might be the Milky toner for you. But I will say I'm still not sure about the exfoliating properties that it's talking about. But that also could be I use some very hefty exfoliators, and those are probably outweighing whatever this does all of the time. So I didn't see that. There might be other people who maybe have experienced benefits of that. I think if you're someone who exfoliates your face at all outside of this, like this is not something I would add with the hopes that it would exfoliate. Oftentimes, I feel like this kind of step, this essence, this Milky toner, this whatever, is more of a moisturizing step, and I just don't feel like I'm getting moisture from it. And that's a bit of a bummer. I just like a thicker, something that feels a little more mucusy, which is kind of gross, but I like a little bit of a thicker formula, and this just like what doesn't do it for me. an opposing opinion. Cam did try this when they were here and they really liked it. And I wish I had filmed this video before they left so I could just be like, take it. In the same realm, I have something slightly more positive to talk about. I have the rephr rebalancing essence. And first of all, the packaging is A1. This is like an aluminum or tin or metal container, which I think is more easily recyclable than plastic is, which is great. I think you only get the pump one time. And so if I were to buy a refill of this, I wouldn't get the pump. And this was sent to me in PR as well. I did buy the gleanser. Sorry, let me go briefly talk about, I bought the sulwhasoo and I bought the gleanser. The ziip was PR and the ordinary product was PR. And so is this. Sorry, I like always forget to like talk about it. I do normally make sure to star things in my, if you look at my description box, I tend to note what's PR and what's not. Also, there's a link at the top of my description box. Click through and help someone who really needs our help right now. This is from rephr and it's 3% glycerin, 2% niacinamide, 2% meadowfoam seed oil, 1% panthenol, and 1% betaine and allantoin. And you get 8.5 ounces of this. And then for the ordinary one, which I like, didn't even look, you get 3.4 ounces, which is probably why I feel like I'm going through it. I love that there's a pump. I like that the pump is even better than the Rode, because the Rode is more similar to like pouring out, which I don't like love, but I still prefer the Rode over this one, but I like this one. I was curious. They offered to send me some more stuff, and I did ask them to send this to me because I'm just like curious. But this is about the same price as the Rode one. So if I were to buy one, I would probably buy the Rode one, which I don't have on hand because if I have something that can do the same thing as it, I'm just going to use it up if I like it enough. But sometimes, you know, you get sick of trying new stuff. Maybe you don't know. I get sick of trying new things and I just will buy the other thing that I really like instead. And this is also pretty liquidy, but you can see that it's a little more mucousy. It's not as runny. It doesn't run down my hand like water, like the one from the ordinary. And I'm rubbing my hands together and you can just see how much more product is on there to be able to press into my face. And I just love that. And it just feels really, really good. It's not as beefy as the one from Rode, but it is really, really nice. What I will say for rephr, because if you watch my channel, the beauty stuff on my channel, you'll know that I do not love their brushes. I will say their skincare is pretty great. It's all no fuss. It's all just kind of like bare bones, but I appreciate that because sometimes skincare be doing the most. And when we're talking about things like this, I just wanted to do what it's going to do. So I can't wait to go back. I'm so glad I don't have to use that anymore and try to make it work for me. I'm going right back to this. I'll let Tiff use it. I'll let anyone use it. Cam, if you wanted me to ship it to you, I'll ship it to you, like, because I'm done with it. I'm excited to go back to this, but I'm even more excited to finish this and go back to the Rode. It's great, but it's not the one. It's not the one for me. But I think that if you are looking to try it, this is not a bad option. Like if you really refuse to buy from Hailey Bieber's brand, this would be a good option alternative for it. Next, I typically do eye cream after toner. And I know that eye cream is a little bit optional. Like not everyone likes to do eye cream. Some people say that it's just moisturizer, but it's really expensive moisturizer right for under your eyes. So I have two. The one I use during the day has been the innbeauty Project Bright and Tight Eye Cream. I did receive this in PR. All of the innbeauty that you will see, in case I forget to say it, has been received in PR. None of it was purchased by me. Here's the thing with eye cream. I use it, but I do sometimes feel like it's a scam. So this one has a little bit of a color to it. And I would say of the eye creams I've used, this is like a medium thickness. I find that sometimes my eye can be very sensitive to thick products like this, and if it's too thick, like if I'm thinking of the one from Glow Recipe, the avocado one, I got milia from that, and I think it was just because of how thick that formula was. But this has a bit of a peachy base to it, and I have heard Alice say that it's supposed to be a little bit color correcting, I guess, but I don't really see any coverage in this really. But it is a really, really nice formula. I think my under eyes like it. I'm kind of one of those people that when it comes to an under eye cream, I want it to like almost feel like it's doing something. The Youth to the People eye cream does that at first, but because it comes in a pot, I feel like it gets too much air in it. And then when the air just reduces the efficacy, the more you have the air hit it. Like, so every time you open it, it's just like exposing all of the product. I'm not a chemist and I don't know all about all of that kind of thing. But what I will say is just like, it seems like eye cream should be in a pump. I probably, after I finish these up unless I receive another eye cream in PR, would go with a K-Beauty one. I think I might try to like do more K-Beauty things. Oh, I did mean to say this. If you do like the 7 skin method where you like do like layers of toner, I think this would be good for it because it does absorb into the skin really quickly. I don't do that. I don't have time. I'm not doing that. Okay, sorry, I just wanted to say that before we moved on. So yeah, I think this is good. I wouldn't be mad about using it up again. You get 0.5 ounces of product, which is pretty standard fare when it comes to an eye cream. I find that it takes me a really long time to use an eye cream, like about a year, more, maybe a little bit more than a year. Normally by the time I'm done with an eye cream, I'm ready to move on to another thing. So I'm sure I'll feel that way as I continue to use this. And also maybe a more exciting eye cream could come and bump it out of its place, but I don't mind using it. My under eye isn't super dark, so I don't feel like I don't really see the benefits of that. So I can't really speak to that claim. And the tightness, I don't know. Because again, I do a lot of other things that like plump and exfoliate and things like that. And I think that this is like a gentle assister in that, not like the main thing doing that. So if it is doing that, I'm not seeing like the benefits of it. The other eye cream, and I did purchase this one, I have the Rodial Bee Venom eye cream. And much like what I just said about the Youth to the People eye cream is true for this eye cream. This is in a pot. And whenever I first got it, I could really feel it, like my skin, like I could feel like some tingles. I could feel it doing, which I love, which probably is the bee venom aspect of it. Is there bee venom in it? I don't know. This is really expensive. I am a licensed esthetician, so I can get a lot of beauty products at a discounted rate. And there was a particular seller of this that I think was stopping carrying Rodial, and it was only $45 when I bought it. And I already knew I liked this product, so I bought it. So I don't think I would ever pay $175 for it. I don't have that kind of income for something that I'm using. I don't know. It's just like, it feels like a lot for an eye cream. And I think it's also because I don't feel like my eye cream feels like a step that I'm never really sure if it's really doing the most, except I know that this one, gives me the tinkle. But then as I keep using it and I opening up the product, it's less tingly. And I'm almost done with this. And I've only feel like I've had this like since November. And on the consistency scale, I would say this is high thickness. It is a pretty thick consistency of a eye cream, but it does blend in really nicely. I mostly use this one at night because I do feel like it's more potent than the one from innbeauty Project, and I really like it. I will not be like, if I can't find it on a deal, I won't be rebuying it, but it's been nice to use a full jar of it. I do think my under eyes look better than it did because I was using the Yerba Mate from, what is the Good Molecules brand, and I think that was actively hurting my under eye. So this definitely made my under eyes look a lot better. So I'm glad I at least got to get my under eyes back to base. Maybe that's probably what I'd be most likely to fork out the full price of this, is like, if my under eyes just start looking really bad after trying some other things, I'll be like, okay. But if I only get 6 months out of this, then I will be, well, I guess that's how long it says it's good for. And it does say you get 0.5 ounces in it, but I feel it says you get 0.8 ounces in this. I did not feel like this had more than this. I feel like I'm going to finish this way faster than I would finish this if we started them both at the same time. There's a lot to consider with this product. It's because when I opened it, I feel like it was only full halfway. And it's like, well, then why wouldn't you put it in a component where it fills it all the way up? Just a thought. Okay, so next we're going to move on to actives. And this product is actually an empty, so you'll see it again at the end of the year. This was from innbeauty Project. Again, this is PR. This is their Porifine Pore and Texture Serum with AHA and BHA acid blend and peptides. I'll explain a frustration. Whenever I got this was a little bit undone. And I was like, oh God, the product is compromised. And then I pulled it open and it's a refillable situation. I don't love that. So okay. I'm not an expert on sustainability. I didn't go to college for that. I've learned things passively from people, right? So the part that's refillable is like this thin plastic, and it's an airless pump, which is great. I think an airless pump is the way to go. So there's no product sitting at the bottom. All of it made it out, which is great. So this is what I'm recycling, which is definitely less waste than this. This is made of glass. This is made of plastic. I think we all know at this point that like plastic isn't recyclable in the way that we were like made to believe it to be recyclable. But not only that, I actually really like this product, and I went looking to see how much the refill costs. But then on innbeauty Project's website, there's no refill. So I was just disappointed that the refills weren't there. It's confusing because I have gone to their displays in Sephora's, and I'm just like sneak peek. This product is not in refillable packaging. This one is. I'm assuming this is where we're heading. I can't imagine you doing refillable packaging and then going back to like disposable packaging. It's just a bummer that the plastic part is what we're recycling. It's definitely like better than like this is a lot of waste, whereas like that's much smaller waste. But like if it was just the glass, I think that this would be more recyclable. That's based on my limited knowledge of sustainability. I think that this would be like a very good baby's first AHA and BHA kind of product. I only use this in the morning, and I know that a lot of people are hesitant to use AHAs and BHAs in the morning, but I use sunscreen every day. So this is I just use this on my face. I don't really care. I'm not like that kind of person who's like very particular, but like I use this on my face, I use it on my body. I know it's like a 2-in-1. It's like a 2-in-1 shampoo, but like it works. It's like my makeup wears well over it. It's fine. Like it's totally fine. Like again, like when I finish that, I probably will get into like KJ beauty sunscreens because I know that they are like much better at sunscreen than the Western market. I understand that because I also have used some beautiful K-beauty sunscreen. I only use this in the morning because I use like some heftier stuff in the evening, but I like to exfoliate in the morning. And I do that because I have oily skin, and I just feel like my oily skin can handle it, and it does reduce the appearance of pores. You can't actually like make your pores smaller. I think it's just a very nice, like, I think it's pretty gentle on the skin. It's a good way into that kind of thing if you've been hesitant. Whenever you're starting something like this, you know, use it once or twice a week to see how your skin reacts, and then you'll build up tolerance to it over time, and then you can start using it every day. But I like really jumped into using this every morning, and my skin really loved it, really ate it up. And I just feel like I almost never have dead skin on the surface of my face. And I think this is assisted in that. Whenever I don't have an AM exfoliator, I miss it. I used to use this one from Dr. Dennis Gross. It came in a dropper, and I don't even know if they make it anymore because I feel like I tried to re-up on it and then I had trouble finding it. It just wasn't in stock anywhere. So I don't know if they switched that product to something new or if like they replaced it with something, but that used to be my morning exfoliator, and I really loved that. However, this did not really last me that long. It lasted me about like 2 months maybe, because, well, I actually don't remember when I got this, so I'll have to like look into it. But I feel like I got it when I got all of those lip oils, which I feel like to me in my brain wasn't that long ago, but maybe I feel like I have no concept of time anymore. But I just feel like I went through this pretty quickly. But it is much less expensive than a Dr. Dennis Gross one, but the Dr. Dennis Gross one used to last me about 6 months. But I guess I will say this, whenever I receive skincare and PR, I apply it more liberally than I do the products that I pay for out of pocket, because it's just like, oh, what a luxury. So I was using 3 pumps of this every time. That's probably excessive, but so maybe that's why I flew through it. If I paid for it, I would probably only use 2 pumps. So I don't know how long that would get me. But where is the refill? Where is the refill? Because I would like to repurchase it, because I think this is $38. How much does the refill cost? I don't know. So in the evening, you may recall me buying this during the Sephora sale. I used the Mer Resurfacing treatment. I got a sample of this to review from Skeepers, and all I had to do was like review it on Sephora's website. It wasn't something that I had to like make a video about. But I ended up talking about it on camera, and in my empties at the end of the year, you'll see that mini. I talk about it. And I used that for a couple of weeks. All winter, the tops of my cheeks were kind of like bumpy and just really, really red, which was pretty weird for me. And I really hadn't changed my skincare that much, other than I started using a stronger retinol, and I had stopped using that retinol, but my skin, even like for weeks after that, my skin never really bounced back. So whenever I got this in PR, not this bottle, I bought this bottle, but when I got that little bottle in PR, I started using it and just it as my exfoliating treatment at night, and my skin loved it. And the redness reduced immensely over time. And I think it's a twofold thing. This is step 1 that I think was saving my skin, but like the tops of my cheeks haven't gotten red unless I know, I don't do all of the things I need to do. But like this has been a real game changer, which is really annoying because this is $134. Now I've had it for a couple of months, and that is how far I've gotten. So I probably could go through the rigmarole of finding an alternative to this, and I might one day. You know, there is something like kind of lovely about using a La Mer product. It's glass, so, but it's like, you know, this is also glass, but this is like fancy glass. It's not even like, it's kind of about the brand name, but like it just really, really works for me. Up until I bought this, I was using the glycolic from Drunk Elephant, and maybe my skin used to love that, but I think it might be a little more potent than this is. And that sometimes happens with Drunk Elephant. Like their baby facial worked for me for a really long time until it started burning my face. And so maybe that is what's happening with the glycolic. But my skin just really, really loves this. I am curious to see how long it will last. We're not even halfway through, which is good. Which is good. That's what we love to see. I only use it in the evening. It says you can use it AM and PM, but I only use it in the evening because that's how I started using it. And I was just like, that's when I will use it. But I really, really, really like this product. It has been a game changer. It exfoliates without doing too much, without hurting the skin. So I'm going to put this here, but like this is kind of like a nothing burger. It's the Bevel Post-Shave Balm. And I had some really bad razor burn on my neck that I was trying to get under control. I did a bunch of things. So I switched to a single blade razor. I used the one from Henson or Henley. I'm not actually sure what the actual name of it, but I used that one. And I change out the blade like after every 3 shaves. And, it's, instead of buying full razors, it's nice to buy the little things. They're so cost effective. Buying the razor itself was really expensive, but I haven't even bought a new pack of the razors. So it's been working really well. And that helped. But this was like the final thing. Now, obviously, this is an exfoliator, and so like this or this could do the same thing. But I had, for some reason, qualms about using this to to help with my razor burn. I don't know. But this is like $14 or something, and it did it. It did the trick. I still sometimes get a little bit of razor bumps, a little bit of razor burns. That's usually because I wasn't paying attention and I didn't switch out the razor after the appropriate amount of times of using it. But if I see consistent with like switching out the razor every 3 uses, using this, I only use this the days I shave, like right after I shave and then that night before going to bed. And then after that, it's normally fine. I normally like don't have any irritation. It's a great little product. So a lot of people have asked me about the razor and if I think it works. I'm only speaking to facial hair. I don't use it anywhere else on my body. So if you have like irritated legs and stuff like that, I don't know if that system or that route would work the same. So I would say you probably would need to like seek out someone who uses those kinds of things to shave their body hair. All right. So, oh yeah, I actually use this every other night now because I've gone back to using a retinol. So I really cooled it on using retinol for a while after that one really irritated my skin. But one I always have loved is the Shani Darden retinol. And after my skin really calmed down, I thought, well, I have this retinol that I had started. And I was like, well, I do just kind of want to finish it. And I've gone back to it and it has helped my skin and it doesn't irritate my skin. Like my skin has been fine. The redness hasn't come back. So I alternate evenings between the two. It's really great. It's super gentle. I really, really, really like this product. It is my retinol of choice, especially because I think my skin's pretty sensitive to retinol. Every time I have tried to like up my retinol, it's like my skin goes literally no. And it's not even like a purging thing. It's like rash, pustules, that's not purging. Purging would be like zits coming to the surface or hyperpigmentation. Like that's not what's happening. What's happening is just like my skin is irritated, but this doesn't do that to me. It's a very gentle retinol. This has been this has been around. So you probably, if you've seen me talk about skincare before, this has probably been talked about. I have 2 different moisturizers. They're both from innbeauty Project. I use one in the morning and one in the evening, but this one's labeled as a serum, but also says it could just be used as a moisturizer. So this is the hyaluronic acid bakuchiol serum. The last time I mentioned bakuchiol, I feel like I got like mixed feelings about bakuchiol, and now I have mixed feelings about bakuchiol, but I'm not here to like tell you whether it's good, whether it's bad. Is it actually something that improves cell turnover? That's what I like don't really understand, because I've read that it's an alternative to retinoids, like a more like for people who have sensitive skin, but I've also read that like it doesn't really do that. Again, I'm not here to solve that problem for you, so I just kind of feel like wishy-washy about bakuchiol. And hyaluronic acid is kind of like whatever to me. Like, I don't care. But it says it deeply hydrates the skin and improves the appearance of uneven texture. Now, I'm kind of tearing through this. I only started using this, I think, like a week or two ago, and I like have torn through it. Again, I'm probably using more of it than I need to, or, you know, would if I had purchased it. It's not in the refillable packaging. I'm not really sure what that's about. Again, in Beauty Project, hit me up. This has a crazy consistency. So it's called the slushy. And I do feel like you can't really tell in the consistency of it. But when you touch it, it feels like a slushy. Like it instantly melts into your skin. And there is a little, it's not grit, but it's like you can feel it. You know how like a slushy looks like it's going to feel? It feels like that. It's crazy, but it does melt into the skin super fast. I have a feeling people with oily skin would like this more than people with dry skin because of how thin the formula is. You could also like layer it. It does say serum, but then it also calls it a moisturizer. Like it can be a step 3. And during the day, I don't feel like I need a lot of heavy moisturizer because my skin's pretty oily, but I still like to do something. So this has been nice. This has been a nice change of pace. I really love the Verdant Voice, the Verdant Voice Field. I really love Verdant Force Field from Phytosurgence, and that would be what I would choose over this, but I really liked this. I think if you're ever in a Sephora that carries In Beauty Project and this is on the shelf, touch it. Like, I feel like this requires touch because it's like a sensory experience, a good one, but it's crazy. The first time I used it, I was like, why did I call this a slushy? And then I like used it and I was like, huh. I guess that's why. And at night, which I think this is supposed to be for people who have dry skin, is the Extreme Cream. It's a firming and lifting moisturizer, and it's infused with plant-based retinol, peptides, and 3 times ceramide complex. I love this for a nighttime cream. It's nice and thick, but it still has a pump. I prefer a pump, and it's just nice and super thick, but I think it still melts into the skin very, very easily. But like it's thick and luscious, and I feel like my skin loves this. Now the refills for this one are already available. So I don't really know when they started switching to the refill system. As far as like the plant-based retinol, it says you can use it AM and PM. It's too thick for me for an AM because with my oily skin, but I love it at night. It's just so thick and luxurious. And what I love about In Beauty Project, basically I have found everything that they make that I have tried pretty effective. And I think their price point's pretty fair. It's not like the most expensive skincare, but it's not the most basic either. So I really just kind of like that price point because it's like right in that sweet spot where it's like, it's not the most egregiously priced, but it's also not like the cheapest. And not that there's anything wrong with cheap skincare. And obviously there's nothing wrong with like luxurious skincare, whatever is going to work for you. But like, I'm more hesitant to try like The Ordinary and things like that because I just feel like that's just like thing by thing. And I do like formulas that kind of like do more than that. As opposed to having like 20 tinctures, I'd rather have like 5 things, you know? But I really, really enjoy this product. But yeah, like I said, it's kind of big, but it is just like that other product where the inside, you get 1.7 ounces of product in this, but it does look like you get like a ton of product, but there is like that insert in there. So I don't know about its thing as far as like lifting my skin. All I will say is that I like it as a moisturizer, and I can speak to that. And then my final step, you might be like, was the moisturizer final step? Is from Phytosurgence, and they gifted this to me. I made a purchase and they were like, try this. So this was gifted. The Regenerative Face Oil. So this is the other side that I think has saved my skin. And I only use this at night because I think that during the day it's just like too much. But I love going to bed with like just feeling my skincare. I also like if I wake up if it still feels like there's skincare on it, but I'm not super mad if my skin like soaks it all up. Most of the time I can still feel it. I use about 3 drops of this and I feel like my skin has never like looked better. I think when my skin can get like irritated, obviously when you're agitating your skin with like acids and stuff like that, I think this just brings my skin back before it gets bad. Right? So like, I feel like when I don't do all of the things, if I don't bother to use this, I just feel like my skin looks so much worse. It looks a little bit dry. It like doesn't look as good as whenever I like use this in combination with everything. But so this saved the redness. And then a while there, it started to look like the redness was coming back. And then I got this in PR and I started using it. The redness gone. Like the high points of my cheeks have never looked better. My skin, I feel like, has never looked better. I just feel like these 2 things have like made my skin so much better. And I like, I just kind of swear by them. Phytosurgence, if you're not familiar, is a Canadian-owned brand, and they're LGBTQIA-owned. Happy Pride! But their stuff is, I don't know how much this costs off the top of my head, but I've looked at it before and I feel like they're pretty reasonable. I feel like in US dollars, it's very akin to the price of innbeauty stuff. Great oil. I don't know if everyone with oily skin will love it as much as me because it is an oil. I know that some people with oily skin don't. They're like weary of using oils. I don't think I could go another lifetime with, like, I will always have this unless another oil comes and like sweeps me off my feet. But like, this is the oil that did it for me. And I respect it and I love it for that. And that, my friends, is my skincare routine right now, or what I've been using. I hope you enjoyed. I will link everything down below if you want to try it. Those are going to be affiliate links. If you are new to my channel, I am mostly a beauty channel, but I have invited in some fragrance and I've invited in some fashion content. I approach it all with the same kind of ethos. I want to love what I already have, and whenever I do make the decision to purchase something new, I want to be very considerate about it, and I want to help myself build that habit. I want to help you build that habit. So if that sounds good to you, I would love to have you subscribe. Make sure you like this video, share it with anyone you think might be interested in hearing what I thought about this skincare. I'm on patreon.com and I have channel memberships. You can feel free to join that or not. I will not. It doesn't, it's okay if you can't do it or you simply don't want to. I do some additional content over there. It's just a way to support me, not necessarily a better way to support me, but does help the channel run a little bit more smoother, and like also allows me to buy things for review. I put most of that money back into makeup, so that's where that typically goes. I'm on Instagram at hautemess over there, and that's it. Remember to follow your haute, and you'll find me, and I'll see you in a video very soon. Go forth, tits out.